You're telling me they were pulling all-nighters to get that episode out. I truly believe they barely put an hour of time into that episode. I hate this obsession with babying artists. You're not allowed to criticize them. You're not allowed to say anything negative to them, as if they're these different beings that work harder than anybody in the world. I'm not gonna compromise my content just to make industry professionals happy. Say the right things. Respect everybody, y'all. Put the stupid fucking flags in my bio, the pronouns in my bio. I support the current thing. I'm not gonna do that shit. And that's why I get shit, especially from people on Twitter that are bending over backwards for the animators to put their dicks in their asses.
What's going on, guys? We're back with another YouTube video. So a couple days ago, a YouTuber named Nicholas Light had one of the most brain dead takes I've ever seen on Twitter, where he just completely crashes out at everyone who worked on One Punch Man Season 3 and goes off the rails. It got so bad and he ended up facing so much backlash that he ended up deleting the tweet, and instead of just owning up to it and accepting responsibility for what he said, he decided to run back to his YouTube page, play the victim card to his fan base, and make it seem like he's being canceled by the woke mob for having an opinion on the show, when that's not the case. So unlike most videos, here you'll actually see me, giving commentary on the video directly, and I'm actually here collabing with a fellow anime YouTuber, the OG Daffy.
Yo, what's going on, chat? How y'all doing? Y'all good? I hope you good. I hope you good. Give me a high five. Give me a high five. If you didn't do a high five, you suck.
And today we're gonna take a look at Nick's video with what he had to say regarding the studio, examine what he said, why his arguments are flawed, and explain why his criticisms don't work.
Something that myself and High C need to preface before we get too deep into this video is that in no way, shape, or form are we defending One Punch Man Season 3, but rather to more of an understanding when it comes to the intricacies behind the scenes and understand just what's going on and why it's coming out like this. Not to say that it's a good product, it's universally known that it is a bad product.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
It's completely okay to criticize the state of One Punch Man with how long fans have waited and the amount of expectations that were not. It's perfectly fine to have criticisms, but you're going about it the wrong way. You're not voicing them appropriately. You just sound like an angry man yelling at the clouds.
So he made a video just basically yelling at the wall. It's called I Got Canceled. Alright, let's get into this video.
Another day, another enemy. Another enemy in the anime industry. First, it was the One Punch Man director. Then it was Trash Taste, other YouTubers. And now it's another director that actually worked on a good anime, One Piece. So I'm not going to waste your guys' time, okay? We're going to get straight to it. This ain't Farmland Saga Thorfinn. Oh, no. This is Season 1 Thorfinn. I'm out for fucking blood.
Boy, if you don't
Okay.
This episode director and known animator Henry Thurlow bashes Nicholas Light in new tweets. Unhelpful, uninformed, disrespectful take to the artists. Oh, not the artists. I don't know what this Henry dude's talking about. There were no artists on One Punch Man Season 3, especially not the latest episode. So this is the tweet, the big tweet that everybody's talking about right now. 500,000 views on this shit. Dear everyone that worked on the newest episode of One Punch Man Season 3, never work on an anime again. You're a disgrace and should be ashamed of yourselves.
Now, taking a look at this tweet, there's already a major issue here. Like, even though, as we said before, even though criticism surrounding the season is definitely justified, insulting everyone who worked on it by calling them a disgrace, especially knowing the full context of the situation and what the artist had to deal with, it's just not productive to the convo at all.
Now, my biggest issue with this tweet is that it is extremely abrasive, and as someone that tends to use hyperbole a lot, you gotta be aware of the influence that you have. As someone that is substantially smaller than Nicholas Light, what I say is not going to have as much weight as what he says. He has way more fans than I do, and you got to understand there's going to be a lot more eyes on you. So when people talk about being PR friendly, you got to understand that you have motion. He does have motion. Nicholas Light is a very intelligent guy, so when you say something this abrasive and this rude, for lack of a better term, you're going to have people echo that same sentiment, and people are going to see this. There's a power dynamic. We clearly know that these people did not have the proper resources to do their job. So when we sit and rag on this shitty product for days and days and days and months and months and months and months on that, it's tiring. People are tired of, listen, I understand being frustrated. I get it. I made my video on One Punch Man Season 3 and I dropped it. I stopped talking about it. I stopped watching it. That's what most people did. And Nicholas Light is a very intelligent human being. He's he's a very smart guy. You can tell by the way he speaks that he knows what he's doing. And I understand, bro, you got bills to pay. I mean, low-key, we're in a recession right now, so get your bag. I'm not even mad at it. I mean, you dropped a 100K banger off some Twitter drama. Shout out to you, bro. Listen, if I could, I would, trust me. But to sit here and willingly ignore context like this is a very bold move. And there's people in his comment section in this video that are just blindly going along with it, and they're just saying, yes, sir, Mr. Nicholas. Yes, sir, Nicholas. Whatever you say. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, it's a lack of empathy on his side, because while yes, it is true, I don't want to sit here and act like we're coddling these people, but we understand that there's a lot more at play than just, they give me a bad product, I don't like it, so I'm going to sit in rage for days and days and days and days and days on end. That's not what we're saying here.
Never work on an anime again. You're a disgrace and should be ashamed of yourselves. Now, if you don't know why I wrote this, it's because I watched the latest episode of One Punch Man Season 3, and it was an abomination. I felt disrespected. I'm sure a lot of people felt disrespected.
Yeah.
But you know who was mostly
it was a bad episode. Definitely. Not the artist's fault, though.
Respected? The creator, the author. I wrote this in total disgust, total anger. What the fuck did I just watch? You have this Henry guy saying I'm disrespecting artists. I don't think any artist worked on this latest episode, and that is what this tweet is directed toward.
Bruh. So you're getting upset when the fucking director calls you out for disrespecting the artists, and then you go and disrespect them again immediately by saying they're not artists because the episode wasn't up to standard. Like, we have to look at the context here, right? Like, it's no secret that the production schedule and the crunch deadlines are causing huge problems over there. In fact, there's direct evidence that animators are forced to crunch their work on an episode in weeks or even like mere days before the episode comes out. Hell, a lot of the work that the artist did on the show didn't even make it in. You have even acknowledged in the past that the production committee is the problem, and yet you're still out here attacking the people who worked on it. Put it this way, right? Nicholas, you're a creator. Let's say you're a creator under a contract and your boss set like impossible deadlines for you and your fans that a video would come out at a certain day and time and promising it would be of quality to your normal videos. But circumstances outside of your control came into play due to your higher ups and the content was subpar. Perfectly reasonable to be upset, but it would make no sense to discard your talent completely and say you're a shit creator who should never make YouTube videos again. That's basically what you're doing with the artist. It just comes across as ignorant.
Boy, High C makes a very good point here. If I am knowingly going into something where I can't put my best foot forward, I'm going to feel shitty about it. I'm going to feel bad. I don't have enough time to actually do what I want to do with them. My name is attached to it. I'm going to feel shitty. It's not if I just put out a bad product and I put my all into it. That's something completely different. That's a completely different criticism. But if I don't have the necessary tools and I get told, hey, I need you to make a review breakdown and super deep analysis of this particular subject in 3 hours and just go have fun, I'm going to struggle. I'm going to suffer. I don't have the necessary tools to do my job. And that's what this is talking about. We're not saying that, oh, you can't say the product is bad. You got to understand the why. And quite frankly, just not be a dickhead about it. It's not hard. And on one hand, I was torn when High C asked me to jump into this video because I really didn't want to give attention to this man. I had this nigga blocked for like a month. I was tired of hearing about him. And then I come to find out that as we were recording earlier today, he deleted his entire Twitter account. His entire Twitter account's gone. He says that there are people posting CP in his comments. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally didn't see anything of that sort in the comments. I really think, if you look at the end of this video, this particular video that he's talking about, I think he just couldn't handle it. And I think he really just couldn't take his ego just being hit on the daily, which is perfectly fine, perfectly valid. Ducking every single thing he tries to stand on and just runs away, except for some of these videos.
The latest episode, which if you didn't know, was actually outsourced to different companies. So the people that usually work on One Punch Man Season 3, they didn't work on this episode. So I simply said, everybody that worked on this episode, it's horse shit. Never work on an anime again. Maybe I
Yeah, you weren't criticizing the artists who were working on the whole show, just the artists that were outsourced to for the specific episode, because that totally makes a difference. Like what is this guy's logic here? This doesn't change what you said at all. Not to mention, you were going at animators who worked on the whole show before this happened anyway, so it's like, you can't even duck out of that.
Maybe I should have been specific. Maybe I should have said, never work on One Punch Man again. So you know what? I'll take anime out. I'll replace anime with One Punch Man, because nobody wants you to work on One Punch Man again. I don't care.
Again, that literally doesn't make a difference.
About this artist code where we have to respect every single artist just because of the hard work they put in. If it's shit, it's shit. And I'm gonna call it out for being shit.
Is this nigga serious?
So
That's not what you did, though. You can criticize something without calling the artist a disgrace. Like, those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Respecting someone for putting in the work despite the harsh conditions and circumstances, that's not part of an artist's code. It's just called having basic human decency.
So let's talk about this. Let's start our response to Mr. Thurlow. Unhelpful, uninformed, disrespectful take to artists who are probably right now working their asses off and pulling all-nighters to make sure the episodes make it to air on time. So are you talking about the anime industry? Are you talking about other anime? Or are you talking about One Punch Man Season 3? I highly doubt you are watching One Punch Man Season 3. But what I've been saying is
Animation in general, which I'm pretty sure includes One Punch Man Season 3, but go off. Please keep telling us how low your critical thinking skills are.
directed towards specifically One Punch Man Season 3, and more specifically, this past episode. You're telling me they were pulling all-nighters to get that episode out. I truly believe they barely put an hour of time into that episode.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You can believe what you want to believe, but just because a product doesn't look up to standard does not mean animators and the artists didn't put work into it. Anyone who has a basic understanding of how animation works knows that time and resources are everything. You can be the most hardworking and talented animator in the world, but if the higher-ups are crushing you with impossible deadlines and a tiny budget, no matter how much hard work that animator puts in, it's gonna show in the final product.
I highly doubt that Nicholas Light has done the ins and outs of the animation industry. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a professional at that because I've never animated anything. I'm sure you watch this video haven't animated anything. But you do know that it takes painstaking work. You got to draw the backgrounds. You have the promotional material. You got to actually animate the mouths moving for the most part. There is a lot that goes into animation. I understand the still frames is still very annoying, but every single frame has to get drawn. Every single one. Oh, I guarantee you, this is not the only show that these people are working on at the moment. It was all this was crammed in. The first promotional material that was shown to us was in 2023, and allegedly, this is a leak, but allegedly, production didn't even start until last year in 2024. You have things such as Jujutsu Kaisen, which confirmed production to be starting as soon as the finale for season 2 aired. So most likely, it was started before that because they already knew a bunch of money was going to get made. You have other shows such as Fire Force, which take off years and years and years, and they come back stronger as ever with absolute fire. No pun intended. But they come back with stronger, and they came back with a good schedule. They knew what they were doing, and they didn't actually tease people for all of this time. That's not the position that these One Punch Man animators were under. Even the company that they outsourced to, they were talking about how bad it was, and how they had no idea that it was going to be this bad. We don't know how bad it was. Take Dragon Ball Super, for example. Dragon Ball Super was notorious for how close these deadlines were, especially during the Tournament of Power. There were reports saying they had 2 weeks to get some episodes out. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, again, was notorious for these deadlines. Yuji vs. Choso allegedly, and I say this allegedly, was finished an hour before they went live, which I have never heard of personally.
Creators work because they love the craft, that it breaks their hearts when it doesn't turn well. Well, watching the season broke my heart. What about my heart? My heart means less than theirs?
Again, so this is a straw man. Dude, no one's saying your heart or your feelings don't matter. I'm sure the artists are just as upset as you are. That's kind of the whole point. Like, no one is saying your feelings don't matter. The problem is your feelings are being directed at the wrong people.
I am so sick of this way of thinking. We have to respect all artists, the sacrifices. It's their fucking job. If the industry is so terrible and they have such a terrible time at their job and they can't handle criticism, then find a different job. You're in the field of art. It's gonna be criticized, especially
Not what's being argued.
when you do a bad job, it's gonna be criticized. If I'm a rapper and my fans expect quality content and they were waiting 6 years for a new album just for me to give them 1-minute songs that were complete shit, they have the right to call me out on that shit. They have the right to say how terrible it is. Oh,
That's true. But the artists and the animators did not have 6 years, so your analogy doesn't work.
management was holding you back and you only had a week to work on the album. They don't care. They just want a good album from me. It's been a long time.
And that takes time. You need time to make a good album, Mr. Nicholas Light. You need time to deliver a quality product. It is okay for people to expect quality from, you know, a certain studio after a certain amount of time, but if management does not give you the time to execute it because they're too obsessed with making fast money over giving you a quality product, then they would be mostly at fault in this situation.
The reason that this music analogy doesn't necessarily work for myself is the fact that you have a very, very totally different dynamic. With these famous musicians, they have tons and tons of money and resources at their time. They have famous producers. They have almost unlimited studio time. They can take as much time as they want off before the money runs dry from merch sales and ticket sales and all that stuff. They have to get back to it and drop whatever. But they can always come back strong. And even if they release something that's not quality, people can criticize them, but they could allegedly still put their all into it. They had as much time as they want. Say, as someone that's a huge fan of Isaiah Rashad, who I've been starving for his music for a long time, if he puts out something bad that he took time on, I'm going to assume he did his best. It just wasn't it. I can understand that. He had all the tools, but it just wasn't for me, and it was a bad product. People felt the same way about Young Thug's album. Young Thug has been out of jail for a very long time. People thought that, okay, well, he's going to come back. He's going to come back hungrier. He's going to come back with all the tools in his disposal and come in with some heat. And his album dropped, and people weren't necessarily feeling it. You see how it's different, right? You actually have an opportunity to prepare. This is what we are talking about. Opportunity. Opportunity to succeed is the name of the game here.
You don't see other musicians and musical artists like, stop criticizing this person's music. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The all-nighters they put to get it out for you guys. Well, maybe instead of pulling an all-nighter, they should have went to bed. I honestly put together a better One Punch Man Season 3 sleeping in my dreams than what they were able to do.
Oh, really?
Prove it.
This is the same type of shit that other animator said a few weeks ago. Basically telling everybody that we're not allowed to have an opinion because they're working hard on the season and we should be grateful. Fuck that.
This isn't even the same thing, though. He's not saying you can't have an opinion. Now, I did take a look at what the other animator he's talking about said a few weeks ago, and I actually have to agree with Nicholas here. Like, that guy did kind of make a mistake by generalizing the entire audience, but you're doing the exact same thing on the other side of the aisle. And to be honest, I don't even think he would have said that if it weren't for people like you inciting harassment campaigns and attacking the staff. That being said, anyone saying that people should just be grateful for what they have or like be grateful for having a season in the first place, they're operating in bad faith. Again, the quality is bad. It should be criticized. But the issue with you, Nicholas, is again, you just go way too far.
What I'm talking about when I say that I do think that Nicholas is an intelligent guy at the end of the day, that he knows what he's doing. Because to say that you're not allowed to critique something because you don't know the ins and outs of it, I do think that that's foolish, yes. But you do have to have some tact, especially when you are constantly every day on my fucking Twitter timeline. Well, not anymore, thankfully. But every day on my Twitter timeline, you're attacking these people saying, you suck, this is terrible, this shit. Take, for example, Uzumaki. If you don't know, Uzumaki was a very well-known horror manga by popular mangaka Junji Ito, and it was teased by Adult Swim at the end of 2020, and 2024 they actually released the anime for it. So almost 5 years, really. And to say that it was a flop is an understatement. There was 4 episodes and the animation absolutely fell apart. And people understood that the animation's horrible. It's terrible. What happened? People wanted to know, why didn't this actually succeed? What happened to make these people not able to perform at their best? Very rarely is someone going to put out a product that they know is going to be shit. Mistakes happen. But to sit here and say that they purposely did this, that it was spiteful, that, oh, they're bad, they're terrible, they messed up one time with the series that was completely out of their control. Well, we know that's just, it's foolish. It's foolish.
Imagine this happened with One Piece. If the biggest moments in One Piece, like Gear 5, looked like One Punch Man Season 3, you're telling me people wouldn't be saying what I'm saying right now? Fire these motherfuckers for ruining Oda's masterpiece, for ruining one of the most popular, if not the most popular anime of all time? Are you gonna stand on the front lines and say, these people are trying their best? You don't understand how hard artists have it. Listen.
I don't watch One Piece. Daffy, you got this one, bro.
My guy. They do say this with One Piece. They said this about One Piece for almost 15 years, brother. Where you been? Where you been? One Piece is a seasonal anime up until this year, and people are excited. There have been so many moments within One Piece that people wish were animated better, had just a bit more love. People literally talk about how Toei has a Sanji agenda and that Zoro gets all the best stuff. People talk about it, but they're not actively attacking the animators. They're talking about the company. Why does the company do this? Do they not have enough time? Why is there just bias against Sanji? People talking the company in mass, but they're not actually attacking the people that work on it. I've had many moments myself when I was was going through One Piece and I was like, damn, I wish it was animated a little better. Now, is this as much of a concern now post Wano? Not as much. They still give a lot of respect. And the biggest complaint still with One Piece is the pacing. And the animation is fairly consistent across the board through Egghead and out. But to sit here and say that One Piece doesn't have its animation criticized is absolutely foolish. It happens all the time.
Listen, Mr. Thurlow, nobody put a gun to this director's head and told him to direct a season that was similar to a ship sinking. No one told him to go out to that ship and try to save it when everybody knows it's fucking sinking. It's beyond repairing. It's beyond saving. But like,
bro, listen to how tone deaf this take is. No one asked you to take this project. No one asked these artists to work on it. Yeah, no one asked me to fill out a job application or go to work every day. I do it because I need money to make a living. Studios and these artists take jobs because they have employees that need money to make a living. Now, of course, I don't expect you to understand this. I mean, after all, you're someone who gets paid thousands of dollars a month to sit and react to shit all day. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm trying to grind to get to that point too, but that doesn't excuse me being dense and insensitive to the people who are, you know, putting in the work, putting in the hours, and putting the hard work in.
I think Nicholas being dense here is pretty infuriating because we're sitting here, we're acting like these people don't have bills to pay. Say you get called in at work and you have to do something that's pretty shitty. Say you have to load up a warehouse. Say you have to serve this big section and you're not able to perform well because you have tons of things going on elsewhere in your section and you can't perform well. But you have your job. It's your job. This is how you feed yourself. This is how you pay your bills, how you pay your card note, how you pay your electric bill, all of this stuff. So to act like, oh, they could have taken the job, either you don't take that and you don't get the money. And here's the thing, even the money that you're getting, a lot of these people are just passionate, and sometimes these people just leave and go to freelance work. That's where some of these really, really good animators go. They just do freelance. But the base pay itself is not all that great. It's around 3,700 yen or $25 to $50 per cut that some of these people do. And listen, bro, if you're the type of person to sit here and spam your analytics and talk about, oh, I make $11,000 from YouTube a month, if you got it like that, bro, I don't expect you to get what we're saying. I don't. If you have never been working class like that, Godspeed, brother. But listen, that's not how the average person thinks. It's not.
This director chose to swim out there to try to save this sinking ship, and then he got a bunch of people to try to save the ship as well, and they're all sinking with the ship, and they're all screaming out, why is nobody helping us? Meanwhile, you have me on the dock laughing my ass off. Why did you go out there? Why are you trying to save that ship, you fucking idiot? You expect me to sacrifice my life to go...
So you attack the people who tried to keep the ship from sinking, but not the people who set up the ship to sink in the first place. Brilliant logic.
Save him? I'm gonna say that was a stupid decision. And now you gotta deal with the consequences. It's like when I do something dumb or say something dumb. I say a lot of dumb shit. I do a lot of dumb shit.
Oh yeah, we know.
I gotta pay. I gotta deal with the consequences. And I understand that completely. I understand that my big mouth is gonna get me a lot of shit online, okay? And in the past, I let that bother me, but now I laugh at it. Now I farm it. You cannot tell me that the animators that worked on this episode, on this season, love what they're doing.
I mean, who would love not being able to sleep at night because you're forced to work to meet impossible deadlines, being paid Skittles for it, and then having to face people like you who make them take the fall for something that's not their fault every day? That doesn't sound like a good deal for me. Does it sound like it for you, Daffy?
Yeah, personally, bro, that seems like a pretty shit deal, in my opinion. I'm gonna be real here, chat. I honestly respect Nicholas's his courage here, man. He let his nuts hang. He said, listen, I don't give a fuck about context. I'm trying to be ignorant. I'm trying to spew hate. I respect, bro. Honestly, I don't even have anything bad to say. If you want to sit here and say, I don't give a fuck about context, I don't give a fuck about what these people are going through, I don't care about anything else, I'm just here to grade the product and that's it. Nothing else around it. Respect, bro. There's nothing I can say or anybody else can say it's going to change your mind.
Of course, you have almost 4,000 likes on this tweet. Everybody replying, probably calling me a talentless, worthless piece of shit, rage baiter, a stupid reaction channel. He makes money off of everybody's work. I mean, more people are watching my videos than the actual season itself. So I'd like to think that I'm more entertaining than the actual animation that we've been getting. Making people laugh, entertaining people, that's talent. One Punch Man, it seems like there's no talent. It's making people laugh, but not for the right reasons.
Well, embarrassing yourself on the internet like this time and time again and constantly having the dumbest takes on earth, that's also somewhat of a talent as well. You're doing an amazing job.
Guy says it's unhelpful, uninformed, and disrespectful. Well, I'm not here to be respectful. I'm not here to be super informed and know what the animators are doing at their desks while they're working. That's not my job. My job is to watch the product and give my review and tell you what I think about said product. My job isn't to understand.
Okay, but you weren't talking about the product in your tweet, though. That's not what you did. You're literally targeting and harassing the staff and telling them not to work on anime anymore. Like, you just come off as a man-child here. No one would have had an issue if you were just giving your honest thoughts on the product, but you didn't do that.
But this is what I'm talking about. He knows what he's doing. Do I need to know about the context? No. My job is to sit here as a reactor, consume the product, and say if it's good or bad, and then harass the staff and say they all suck. Okay? You want a fucking cookie?
My job isn't to understand if the animators are taking showers at night, what their lunch breaks are looking like, if they have a lunch break, how many minutes long it is, what the work culture's like. Maybe there's roaches in the building. I don't need to know that, nor do I care. So I completely understand where this guy is coming from. He understands the work life, right? He has to say this. Because if I'm being honest with you, if he didn't feel this way, if he didn't say this, I don't think Japan would want to work with him. Because this is the type of shit you have to say to have a job. To be an animator in Japan. That's why the director can't say, Nicholas Light is right. Everybody that's mad, you're all right. No, he can't say that because he'll be fired. The studio can't say anything. They'll be fired. This guy can't say anything because then he won't have a job.
You are aware that the political landscape in Japan is like nowhere near the same as it is in America and in the West, right? Like, you just sound uneducated. And even then, like, what was wrong with what he said? He didn't even disagree with you that the season was ass. But according to you, if he doesn't completely validate everything you're saying and all your talking points, he won't have a job apparently.
So to say that because the gentleman that you're talking about in this tweet, he lives it, nobody else can have that opinion because you're not an artist. That's just dumb. You can just do your research. You can also just use your brain. I can tell you that some of these work conditions are awful. Musashi Kishimoto, the author of Naruto, was at one point working 111 hours a fucking week when he was doing Naruto. And that's not even crazy. That's literally the norm for a lot of these mangaka. And they're just actually drawing. Now, we're not talking about animators. You gotta go back. You gotta have your director be like, hey, actually do this cut again. Do this a little differently. All of this stuff. No. I understand what you're saying, but it just comes off as you're willingly being ignorant. And I understand to an extent, this is rage bait. This is rage bait for clout. Let's give it a buck, chat. Does this man actually believe a word he's saying? Absolutely not. Maybe a little.
I don't have to say anything. I am my own boss. I say whatever the fuck I want to say. I'm gonna call it how it is. I truly believe that everybody that has worked on this season should never touch One Punch Man again. Was I emotional in the moment and I said never work on an anime again? Was that wrong? Okay. But I'm here to replace the word anime with One Punch Man, and I will quadruple down on that shit. And I'm not gonna lie, this hurts a little, but I was ratioed on my own tweet by Doodle Lotl. You are bargaining.
The real reason your butt hurt, because you got ratioed.
At the wrong tree. You could be the most talented artist, but if you haven't been given enough time to do your job, this is what happens.
Wow. Someone with an actual common sense and full context on the situation with a completely rational take. I wonder why you got ratioed. I might have to do some mathing on that one.
The most talented artist, but if you haven't been given enough time to do your job, this is what happens. These people are fucking crazy. They are actually defending what we've been getting with One Punch Man Season 3. They're using this stupid fucking excuse about time constantly, as if it's Bandai Namco and time, telling these animators, telling these artists, telling this fucking director to put filters every 5 seconds.
What? This is extremely disingenuous. Nowhere in this tweet did he defend the quality of the season. Even under the tweet, he agrees with the person that the season is low quality. But going after the artists and animators when they had no control over the circumstances is just crossing the line. Like, why is that so hard for you to understand?
This is way beyond animation and time. It's these types of excuses that enables this fucking industry to keep doing what it's been doing. If they know what the timeline is about to look like,
it's not excuses. It's called knowing the full situation.
Trust me, they all know what the timeline is about to look like, and they accept that timeline. They accept that job. You have to deal with people like me that talk the way I talk.
So you just know you're gonna be a dickhead? You get off on being like that? That's not cool, bro. That shit not cool. That's lame. In my personal opinion. And let's take a back seat here. How often do products like this come out in the modern day? If you were to look at the early 2000s and mid to late 90s, maybe, but animation standards have risen. There are new animation techniques on the rise all the time. A lot of these people are passionate. They do great. There are so many fan animations out there that blow my mind on the daily whenever I see them. You have things like fan art and all this stuff. So to say that this is the norm, that this is a travesty, it's happening everywhere all the time, this is the norm, that's just not true. Industry standards have risen thanks to things like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, all of these big modern shonen and all these big anime names. The standard has risen. So no, this is not the norm. This is out of the norm, and that's why it's getting so much attention. If this is a common thing, people would not be giving as much attention to One Punch Man and your bullshit tweets as they are now, because this is abnormal. Huge shout out to Totally Not Mark, by the way, Zero Glaze, but the way that he presents himself and his points is very eloquent. It's not something that Nicholas Light could dream of doing in 1,000 years. Partly because he has a different audience. He's also been doing it way longer, but also he understands as an animator himself what goes into it, and he empathizes why people were not able to do their jobs correctly.
Yeah, it's upper management, Bandai Namco production committee. Yeah, it's mostly their faults. Why are you treating One Punch Man, any anime, this is even beyond Bandai Namco, any production committee that treats an anime like this and gives it in a possible timeline. Yes, I blame them, but I also blame the people that accept said timeline. To me, they're just as responsible. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. And listen, a lot of people will be like, well, they need the money. It's their job. Okay, if they accept this timeline, if they accept this crunch, they will get paid, but they will also be criticized, which they could actively just tune out by signing off of Twitter.
So yeah, again, it's getting repetitive, but we've been over this. Them being criticized is not the problem. It's how you go about it.
But nobody wants to hear that. They want to make me out to be the enemy. They want to make me out to be uninformed, unhelpful, disrespectful, all because I'm saying what most people are thinking. And because I have over 1.2 million subscribers, now they have a big target they could blame. Well, guess
No, dude. You being targeted for saying something stupid has nothing to do with your popularity. As Daffy said earlier, Totally Not Mark, and even creators like Moist Critical have criticized One Punch Man openly. And they have millions of subscribers. But the reason you get flack and not them is because of how they articulate their reasoning. They give their thoughts, they voice their thoughts. Mark even did research into the matter, and he said this: the animators are not the ones who broke One Punch Man. They are the ones who tried to hold it together while the industry insisted on ripping it to shreds. Instead of just blindly attacking everyone who worked on it, he does a deep dive, explains how bad the show is, and acknowledges the circumstances behind it. It's a great video, and I highly recommend you guys check that out.
what? I don't take anything back. I quintuplets down on this shit. The season is ass. Everybody that's working on it is doing a terrible job. None of them should be working on One Punch Man Season 3 because they knew they had a limited amount of time. They knew they had a crunch to give us a product, and the product is terrible. Why would I want people like that working on something I love so much? Why would anybody want that? You know, I'm about to say something that might get me in trouble, but whatever at this point. You guys know me. You guys know how I talk, and I care less and less every single fucking day. I hate this obsession with babying artists. You're not allowed to
see, like, that's the big problem with this dude. Like, this guy cannot take accountability for, like, any of the dumb shit he says, and it's just infuriating. Like, this is why he constantly keeps getting into stuff like this time and time again. It's just like he just lacks any self-awareness whatsoever.
them. You're not allowed to say anything negative to them, as if they're these different beings that work harder than anybody in the world. And then I'm hit with the response that I do nothing but sit down and watch anime. So because I go to a basketball game, I can't judge the basketball players. I can't say how terrible my favorite player is doing because I don't know how to shoot a three-pointer. I don't know how to play basketball myself. I don't care about how hard this basketball player has worked, how much he has trained, all those sleepless nights. If he's having a bad game, I'm gonna say he fucking sucks, just
okay,
like any
cool.
other fan would.
Though.
But there's something with this world of artists where I can't have an opinion. I can't criticize anything because I gotta think about their feelings. It's not that deep. I just think they're doing a terrible job.
Okay, let's go back to your basketball player analogy, right? Like, dude, if you think a basketball player sucks during a specific game, then cool, voice your opinion. But there's a difference between that and then saying he's a shit basketball player and he should never play basketball again because of one bad game. And even then, most of the time, basketball players get the proper time needed, like, to do their training and everything. The One Punch Man animators and artists don't have the proper time here. Again, for the 15th fucking time, nobody is saying you can't have an opinion. Your opinion that animators and artists should never work on an anime again because of circumstances outside of their control is stupid. That's all there is to it. Take accountability and stop playing the victim.
They knew they would be doing a terrible job. People are just calling it out. Just because you work hard doesn't mean everybody should get on their knees and thank you. You know, man, this is why I'm never going to get invited to these events, right? And in the past, it did bother me. I'm like, damn, why are all these other creators going to the Crunchyroll Awards? Why are these other creators getting invited to the Video Game Awards? And they're going to all of these places. That could be me. Why is it not me? It's because of this. It's because of this right here. It's because of my mouth, and I'm not afraid to use it. I stopped caring about being friends with everybody and getting invited to all of these places a long time ago. Because to get invited to those places, you gotta be PR friendly. You cannot have a voice. To have the safe opinions about everything, you have to sacrifice being yourself, and I won't sacrifice being myself. I'm gonna be unapologetically me, and this is why I get so much shit.
No, you can be yourself, but also be responsible. Like, those two things can exist at once. Just be responsible with what you say. This isn't I can't have an opinion issue. It's I said something irresponsible and I'm facing the consequences for it issue.
Aren't used to this, they're used to this, especially on anime YouTube. Everybody wants to be PR friendly and say the right things, so they're invited to the Trash Taste podcast. Me, I don't give a fuck about the Trash Taste podcast. I'm not gonna compromise my content just to make industry professionals happy. Say the right things, respect everybody, y'all. Put the stupid fucking flags in my bio, the pronouns in my bio. I support the current thing. I'm not gonna do that shit, and that's
Wow!
You somehow found a way to shoehorn a conversation about pronouns into a One Punch Man video.
I'm not even gonna hold y'all, chat. As soon as he started talking that pronoun right-wing grift bullshit, I left the video. I was out. I'm good on that, man. You managed to turn some anime discourse about One Punch Man into Palestine flags and pronouns and all that. Congratulations. You did it. You did it, bro. Now all these super racist chuds on fucking Twitter are gonna come and flock to you. Congratulations. Oh, we got cancel culture, guys. They can't cancel me. I'm Nicholas Light. I'm big bad Nicholas Light. I say what I want and do what I want. You're so cool. I want to be Nicholas Light when I grow up.
why I get shit, especially from people on Twitter that are bending over backwards for the animators to put their dicks in their asses. They look up to them as gods. And I'm not criticizing this dude's work. This dude's work is next to perfect. I'm just criticizing what he said. It's like people want to judge me and go
and people are criticizing what you said. So I don't get it. Can you just not take what you dish out? I mean, that's what it seems like to me. That's what it seems like.
For me, because I'm not afraid to use my voice. They cannot use theirs because they can't say the truth. They have to attack me for saying the truth. And I'm sure a lot of people expect me to apologize, to delete my tweet. You know what? I probably will because people will talk about it. These people can't stop talking about me. They hate me so much, but they're obsessed with me. Well, I'm going to make them keep talking about me. So get ready, guys. You ready? You ready? Watch this. Watch this. Delete. Delete. And now they're all going to...
This wasn't the W you thought it was, little bro. This was not the W you thought it was, little bro. But let's let him give his narcissist logic for this one.
And now they're all going to be in my replies. They're all going to be making their tweets saying Nicholas Light deleted his tweet, but we have the screenshot. We have the secret information. I always say this in response. Everything I've ever deleted, I don't delete it because I'm trying to hide it. I stand on every single thing I've ever deleted. Not only do I stand on it, I quadruple down on it. So the tweet that got me in trouble today, just because I deleted it doesn't mean I don't stand by it. If you were...
Okay, hang on. This logic makes literally no sense. If you stand by what you said, and if you truly believe you didn't say anything wrong to the point where you're tripling down on it, why would you delete the tweet? Like you're saying, oh my God, everything I said was right. Oh my God, I'm tripling down. But you deleted the tweet. But you deleted the tweet. Like, is it because poor little Nicholas Light can't handle criticism? Surely that's not the reason. Surely that's not the reason he's blocking people for disagreeing with him, or just flexing his subscriber count and how much money he makes to people explaining to him why his takes are wrong. This has nothing to do with his inability to take criticism whatsoever.
It's such a weird take to have. I'm gonna sit here, delete this tweet, and hope people take screenshots so they can talk about me more, rather than just leaving it up and they can just go to my profile and see it. That doesn't make sense. Instead of proudly putting your name on what you said, you hide behind the delete button and hope that other people are going to talk for you and come to your defense for you. That don't really make sense to me personally. Never mind the fact that he deleted his entire account over this nonsense. It straight up lied about CP being shared in his comments, and he knows that people can't simply go back and look at if there was illicit material being shared in his comments because, of course, it's deleted. But this just comes across as you can't handle the criticism. And believe me, as someone that's had tons and tons of criticism levied against me for random things that I feel like I wasn't even being abrasive on, I get it. It can be overwhelming. I get it. Be hard to kind of turn it off and not have it rot in your brain all day. But when you're actively provoking people and trying to talk shit all the time and be argumentative with all these people, they're gonna catch up to you. And at a certain point, you gotta acknowledge that you're wrong. You even said it outright. I don't care about the context. I don't care about everything these people are going through. I just want to talk about the product only. You come across as ignorant and you come across as a empatheticless dick.
But yeah, that's it. That's it. He said some dumb shit. He's gonna quadruple, triple down on it, and yeah, that's that. That's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like what you see, be sure to like the video, share, comment on the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Daffy, you got any final thoughts, my man?
Yes, sir. Huge shout out to High C HD for featuring me on this video. Please make sure y'all leave him a like, subscribe, hype the video, all that goodness. My boy is on the grind. We're both trying to hit 20,000 subscribers, and so if you could please assist with our journey, we would very much appreciate it. Thank you all for your time, and I will see you all in the next video. You guys make sure you take care of yourselves. Have a damn good one. Peace.
And shout out to the OG Daffy for collabing with me on this video. He actually also has a really amazing video detailing what animators go through in the industry. If you're interested in that, the link will be in the description along with his channel if you guys want to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, we're out. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.